it's Jennifer here, Daughter with Spirit. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about haunted houses. So I grew up in a haunted house, lived there until I was probably 25 years old. And in this house, I loved it. It felt like home, but there were some strange things. Um, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on one of these videos, but most of my life, I heard my name being called, and it was always a woman's voice, and it always sounded just like my mother, which can be really scary, crazy. Of course, me not being able to walk to the other side of the house, I would yell, "What?" And my mom would say, "What? Why are you yelling?" And I told her, "Well, you were yelling my name." And she would tell me, "You're crazy. I didn't call you." Um, and it was always just me and her at the house. And I grew up my whole life thinking that, everyone it didn't happen every day, but I heard it. And once when I was probably 20, I had a full on experience with the same spirit that told me to get off the phone and go to bed. And the phone was going dead. It was absolutely crazy. It scared me. It scared my cat. We both kind of took off, and I locked that door to that room. Um, all the while, my mom and dad were sleeping right on the other side of the room that I was at. So I knew that they were in bed, and it couldn't have been my mom because this was on the other side of the house. And I just heard something that scared me. I don't know what it was. Oh my goodness. Just because I talk to people who are on the other side does not mean that I still don't get scared. So, another thing is my grandma's house was very haunted. My grandma had an antique shop in her house. I'm not sure how many years the antique shop was in her house, but she had an antique shop for 50 years. And my grandma had a two-story house, and half of the bottom of the first floor was her antique shop. So me and my cousins grew up in the antique shop, and energy has a way of hanging on to things in places. It gets stuck. People get attached to things, right? So I had many experiences at my grandma's house. Like I said, I pretty much grew up there. I was there almost every single day. Had experiences there, would hear things, I've seen things. I've talked about the latch moving. When I was probably in junior high, I heard something and I glanced over and I saw a hook, like a screen door latch. I saw the hook going up and down, floating in midair. I get goosebumps, the heebie-jeebies every time I talk about it. And I was I was making myself an egg, and I threw the plate on the table where the TV was, and I ran out of the house crying because I was, you know, clearly it was spirit trying to get my attention, I think, because I heard it first in the other room. I saw it, and standing just, 15, maybe 15 feet away from it. And I've always thought that's spirit trying to get my attention because they knew that they could. Golly, I have chills and feeling kind of ugh. Um, Still all these years, 30, almost 30 years later, I still get chills. Um, Also, once I was sitting at the bottom of the stairs where my grandma had her sewing machine, sewing little scraps of fabric together. And I heard what sounded like angels. It sounded like a choir of angels singing at the top of the stairs. And that's been another one of my fears, that it sounds like angels, but what if it's not? But I was not the only one that heard the angels. My grandma once, I don't remember this. I was not there when it happened, but my grandma had passed out upstairs and she could hear the angels singing. and she knew that she would be okay. And my uncle also heard the angels, or what he thought was, Christian church music, I believe. So I'm not the only one that had heard that. Uh, that made me feel good because us kids didn't really talk about our experiences too much. When I would say something around my one cousin, I would get laughed at. But my grandma always told me it's okay. Um, I remember when I saw the latch moving, she told me it was just the wind. And I'm like, there's no wind. There's no wind in this house. Um, my grandma had window units. She did not have central. There was no wind over there. Okay. Um, so, but that's always a thing, and I was really scared to stay in that house alone, and that's been one of the things whenever I have a bad dream, it always takes place at that house because I've had so many experiences and spent so much time there being afraid that whenever I have a bad dream, I end up at that house. Now I love it. My grandma has passed, and I got the chance to go back. And this has been several years ago. I was mopping the floors, trying to clean the floors in the front, and I heard my grandma say thank you. And I don't recall ever hearing my grandma talk to me after she's passed. She's been gone for a while now. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just started crying because I could feel the gratitude that she had, and she was happy and appreciative, and all I heard was thank you. And so we have to remember that just because a place or a thing is haunted, um, it doesn't mean it's actually haunted. Uh, it's just energy attached. And that energy can be perceived as negative when we don't understand it. Sometimes I guess it could be something, but you just have to remember that ghosts or spirits were once people too. They just don't have a body anymore. So it makes it, something that we don't understand and a little bit more creepier, especially when you get to things that move on their own. um, that can be spirit moving something, or that can also be um, other energy that can make that happen. But if you've ever had an experience, if you've heard or seen something that you didn't understand that was kind of creepy, let me know in the comments below. What's I think it's pretty common for people to hear their name being called. I know that's how it kind of, I think, started out with me. I would hear my name being called and things would be moved around. So let me know in the comments below. Make sure to ring the bell and follow me over on Facebook, where I go live most Wednesdays and do mediumship, gallery reading style, and most Sundays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and hope to see you over there. Bye, guys.